हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
प्रभु हरे कृष्ण।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, धन्यवाद प्रणाम।
हरे
हरे
कृष्ण प्रभु जी, धन्यवाद प्रणाम।
दंडवत हरे कृष्ण। हरे कृष्ण। ओके, इस आईफोन चंदन प्रभु। हरे कृष्णा। ओके। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपीश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयति गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। All right, so today we are um, beginning with the 14th chapter. This is one of very important chapter to understand um, the three modes of material nature. 13th chapter, Krishna asked 6 questions. One of the question Arjuna asked Krishna was, what is Prakriti, material nature? Um, the living entity, um, spirit soul, is bound by material nature. Um, and that's what prolongs or keeps one in this material world is this material nature. And when we say material nature or Maya, we are actually referring to the three modes of material nature: Satogun, Rajogun, Tamogun, mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. All three together is called Maya, nothing else. They are non different. So here Krishna explains the three modes and how the living entity is bound by the three modes and how the living entity can go beyond the three modes and become liberated. When we are out of three modes, we are liberated souls. This it's the three modes, these three that we are going to discuss today, which keeps us in this material world. Um, and that's why the acronym for this is trap, because these modes have trapped us in and out from all directions. Um, Now, T stands for the three modes. First, Krishna describes the importance of this knowledge. Then he describes what is mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. Then he describes how the three modes are constantly um, fighting over each other. And sometimes mode of goodness wins over, sometimes mode of passion, sometimes mode of ignorance. These three are constantly changing. Um, Then A stands for actions in modes. Um, what if we act in goodness? What will happen to us? If we act in passion? What will be the immediate result short term result and long term results. And likewise in mode of goodness, what will immediately we will see short term and long term. So actions in three modes and their reactions. And P stands for pure life. How can we go beyond the three modes? Now, as you see on the picture on the left side, um, the living entities are compared to puppets. These puppets have um, no free will, no free will. Um, they are um, they dance based on the movement of the strings controlled by people behind the scene. It seems like the puppet is moving, walking, speaking, dancing, eating, and everything, but it's actually the people behind the scene who are running the puppets. So these, for living entities, for all of us, we are also puppets in reality. And the people behind the scene are the three modes: mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. And um, um, they run the show, and we just dance based on how which mode is acting on us. Then above the three modes, you see Krishna, because Krishna controls the three modes. And when we take shelter of Krishna, then Krishna can remove the influence of the three modes from us. And that's when we become liberated. Liberated means these strings, as you see on the left hand side, these strings are cut off. Then we are liberated. Then we are free to do whatever we want. But as long as these strings are there, the three modes they bind us. Now, we all have a nature. Um, we behave in a certain way. We are attracted to certain things. Um, we have a nature, and this is how the nature is formed. It starts with a thought, um, good or bad. Um, the thoughts, when we meditate on it, meditate, we may reject, but if we meditate, keep meditating, then it will turn into action. And especially if the thought is sinful, it will turn into a sinful action. And if we, once we perform a sinful action, which begins with meditating on a sinful thought, as Krishna says, Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsham Sangasteshu Pujayate Sanja Sanjayate Kama Kama Krodha Vijayate. Krishna says, as we meditate on the object of the senses, lust develops, attachment develops. Um, from attachment, lust develops. From lust, unfulfilled lust leads to anger. And if we give in to those attachments, then the tendency to repeat those attachments, those actions that um, are arising because of those attachments, and that tendency to repeat them will also increase. So this is thoughts leads to actions. And as if you do it once, you do it many times, and if you keep doing it, it becomes your habit. Then you're just doing it all the time, and then habit becomes a character. So that's why people who have a habit of um, illicit relationships, alcoholism, meat eating, you will see their character will be very loose. Those people cannot be trusted. They will be controlled by their mind and senses. So habits leads to character, and character leads to unconscious doing. Means you just do it. You just do it. So there is a saying, habits die hard. Means we have, based on our previous conditioning, certain habits, and some are conducive for our spiritual advancement, some are not. And it's very difficult to break a old bad habit. It's very difficult. But what can help us is when we form new good habits like reading, discussing Bhagavad Gita, chanting the holy names. When we develop these new good habits, slowly bad habits will leave us. But for all of us who are already on the path of devotional service, be very careful, because Srila Prabhupada says spiritual life is a tug of war between the living entity and the illusory energy. The illusory energy will put us on a bodily platform, will try to attract us to this world and do certain things which are not conducive, illusory energy. And with sharp intellect, we try to move forward towards Krishna. And there is a constant tug of war. But if you are sincere, if you pray to Krishna in when you are helpless, shelter will come. Shelter will come. It's just as long as we are determined to receive the shelter. But if you're not determined to make progress, then Chaitanya Charitamrita explains even the Supreme Lord cannot help us unless we are determined. So that's how the habits and characters are formed, is starting with meditation, the thoughts. Now, these thoughts are impelled by these material moods. Now, people can predict about us who know us well. Um, um, Vedas speak about three different types of lifestyles. One is lifestyle in ignorance. These are habits bad in short and long terms. And we will discuss in detail about what is mode of ignorance, and see how we can identify how much ignorance we have, how much passion we have, how much goodness we have. We will see certain examples today. Then passion lifestyle is these people look for immediate pleasure, but they go through a lot of suffering later on. Krishna says, "Ehi samsparsa cha bhoga dukkha yonana evate adi antavanta kauntaya na teshu ramate buddha." An intelligent person does not take part in the sense objects uh, because they give rise to dukkha. Dukkha yonana evate. Um, Misery comes later on, but immediate it is pleasure. Whereas some people are in goodness, the lifestyle in goodness is hard to form, but enormous benefit in long run. Like hard to form, these are difficult habits to form, but they'll be very beneficial. Um, Getting up early in the morning, reading Bhagavad Gita. Now, when we do these things, and if we do it daily, then it will become our habits. But in the beginning, it is difficult because we are conditioned by our past habits. So forming new habit is difficult, especially the new habit which are transcendental or in mode of goodness. But if you can form these habits in the beginning, we have to push ourselves, especially when we are not used to practicing spiritual life. We have to force ourselves because those habits are not there. And these habits are difficult to form, but once you have it, um, your direction in life will be very smooth. You will get regular guidance, and you will become peaceful, and you will derive inner pleasure. So beginning with the first verse, परं भूय प्रवक्ष्यामि ज्ञानानां ज्ञानम् उत्तमं यद्ज्ञात्वा मुनयो सर्वे परां सिद्धिम् इतो गता. Jnananam Jnanam Uttamam. Hey Arjuna, now I am going to describe the knowledge in this chapter. Jnananam Jnanam Uttama. Whatever Jnana I have given you, whatever knowledge I have given you, this knowledge is best among all of that. So this chapter is so important. Yad Gyatva Munayo Sarve. Whoever knows this knowledge, all the rishis, Munayo is rishi, all the rishis, not some, survey, all the rishis who have gained this knowledge, param siddhim itogata, they have attained supreme perfection. So that is the philosophy of this knowledge of three modes. Once you understand this knowledge, you will attain supreme perfection just by understanding and applying it in your life. Now, what is that supreme perfection? And Krishna says, Idam jnanam upashritya mama sadharmayam agata sargepi napo jayante pralay na vyathanti cha. Idam jnanam upashrita. Upashrita is to take shelter. One who takes shelter of this knowledge, these three modes, knowledge about it. One who takes shelter of this, mama, he become just like me. Sadhar, sadhar mayam agata. He comes to me and he has a form like me. In other words, we get a spiritual body, and um, um, we go beyond material body. Krishna is Satchitananda, full of bliss, full of knowledge, full of um, eternity, eternal. And the living entity, um, the spirit soul, is also Satchitananda. Sat means eternal, Chit means knowledge, Anand means bliss. So the soul is naturally blissful, um, the soul is eternal, and the soul is full of knowledge, but it has been covered. Our bliss is covered. That's why we are constantly looking for happiness, because it's covered. By nature, we are blissful. We are eternal, but because of identification with the body, we think we will die. And because of uh, um, ignorance, our knowledge is covered. That's why we are curious to understand about spiritual life, because by nature we are full, all knowing, chit, chit feature. So just like Krishna is Satchitananda, we are also Satchitananda Vigraha. um, so one attains that nature of actual nature of Satchitananda, that is called liberation. One attains a spiritual body. So just by taking shelter of this knowledge, you can become transcendental. And what happens when you become transcendental? Sargepi nopa jayante jayanti. Jayanti is to take birth. Um, nopa jayante means one does not take birth in this material world. We take birth because of material desires. Um, Unfulfilled material desires. That's the cause of next birth. And the next body we get is based on our karma and our unfulfilled desires. But one who becomes free, he is a liberated soul. He does not take birth in material existence. Pralay is during destruction. Now, Vyathanticha. During destruction, he does not feel any pain. He's beyond. Once you get a spiritual body, you are beyond birth and death and destruction and everything else. That is a supreme perfection. And by taking shelter of this knowledge of three modes, one can attain supreme perfection. Um, Before Krishna starts explaining the three modes, first Krishna will describe about his relationship between the Jiva, the living entity, and Prakriti, the three modes. First, Krishna is describing his relationship with Prakriti, and then Krishna describes how the three modes bind us. Um, the total material substance, Mahad Brahman, is the source of birth. So even the body is made of three modes. Everything in the existence is made of, uh, um, it's all matter. Everything material um, is uh, um, is basically this material nature, Prakriti. So it is this matter which is the source of birth, and the um, um, so there is a total material substance which is called Mahad Brahma, a total material substance. Um, from there, everything else emanates. For example, this glass is made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether. This mobile is made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether. Our bodies are made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether. So these are all transformations of matter. There are millions of different forms and shapes and different objects, but essentially they are all made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether, Panchabhutas. So the source of Panchabhutas is called Mahad Brahman. Mahad Brahman is total material substance. And from that total material substance, millions of things can be created. All we play around is earth, water, fire, air, ether, and we play around with that. For example, all the electronic items, it's earth element, silicon. Silicon is an earth element. So we play around with that. So um, um, the living entity, Krishna says, is he impregnates this Mahad Brahma, total material substance. So through his glands, um, Mahavishnu, Krishna in the form of Mahavishnu, transfers all the spirit souls into the womb of impregnate means like a father impregnates mother. Likewise, um, Durga Devi is the in charge of this Mahad Brahman or the total material substance, and Lord Mahavishnu impregnates through his glands and transfers all the living entities in the womb of um, Durga Devi, which is Mahad Brahman. And then, based on their previous karma and previous desires, they all take many, many kinds of forms: bird's body, human's body, demigod body, animal's body, uh, trees, non moving living entities' body, like that. So, the total material substance, Mahad Brahman, is the source of birth, and it is that Brahman that I impregnate. So, Krishna, in the form of Vishnu, impregnates, making possible the birth of all living entities. But the body is given by Durga Devi. That's why Durga Devi is also called the mother of all living entities, because the body is given by her. Um, but the spirit soul is not produced by her. She only gives the physical form, earth, water, fire, air, ether. But the spirit soul comes from Vishnu, um, Krishna in the form of Vishnu. And this is further explained in the fourth verse, continues. Sarva yonishu kaunteya murtaya sambhavanti ya tasham brahma mahadionir aham bija pradapita. Pita. Pita is father. Pita. Bija Prada. I am the father who provides the seed, the bij. So, just Mahad Brahman, the total material substance, cannot give rise to, cannot give birth. Um, um, the seed has to come from the father. Just like a mother using her elements, Panchabhuta elements in her womb, makes a body, but the seed has to come from father. Without the father, the mother cannot give birth. Likewise, um, Durga Devi or Mahad Brahman, who is the total material substance, cannot give rise to the birth. The seed has to come from the father. Um, the father injects the soul in the form of a semen, injects the souls, um, one or two soul clicks, and then the bodies form around them, but the spiritual spark is transferred through the father. Without the spiritual spark, no birth is possible. Likewise, Krishna says, I am the father of all living entities. This verse also um, defines sambandha. Sambandha is relationship, our relationship with Krishna. uh, Krishna is our real father, real father. Now we have a father in this birth, but that father is um, 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 limited to this body. In our next birth, we will have another father. In our previous birth, we will have another father. So we have many fathers and mothers. We are very grateful to them. At the same time, spiritually, we understand our biological father mother gives us a physical form. But the soul, the original relationship is only with Krishna. Krishna says, I am the father of all living entities. Aham bija pradapita. Sarva yonishu kauntaya, all species of life, sarva yoni, 8.4 million species of life. Whichever form we are in, Krishna is a seed giving father, are made possible in this material nature. Again, Mahad Brahma, which is material nature. Material nature by itself cannot give birth, but because Krishna provides the seed, the spirit soul, around whom the Mahad Brahman, the total material substance, forms the body of a living entity. And Srila Prabhupada gives a very beautiful example. He says, the scorpion lays its eggs in the piles of rice. And sometimes it is said that the scorpion is born out of rice. But the rice is not the cause of the scorpion. Actually, the eggs were laid by the mother. Similarly, material nature is not the cause of the birth of the living entity. The seed is given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they only seem to come out as products of material nature. Um, so, just like commonly it is said that scorpions are born from the rice, but they don't born from the rice. Mother scorpion has laid eggs. So, likewise, it may seem like we are coming from father and mother, and everything is made of matter, and we are also matter. It may seem like that, but just like rice cannot give birth to scorpions, material nature cannot give birth to living entity. The Supreme Lord has to transfer the bija, the spirit soul, in the womb of material nature. Thus, every living entity, according to his past activities, based on our past karma, has a different body. Um, 8.4 million species. All these bodies are material nature, created by this material nature, so that the living entity can enjoy or suffer according to his past deeds. Okay, so does anyone has any question at this point of time? Okay, continuing. Now Krishna will describe about what is this Mahad Brahman, this total material substance, this material nature, these three modes. Now Krishna will get into the topic, but the relationship is everything material is coming from material nature. Krishna impregnates the material nature with the spirit souls, and the spirit souls takes one of the 8.4 million species of life. That's how life is made possible. Now, material nature consists of three modes. Now, Krishna is expanding this Mahad Brahman, material nature, and he says there are three types: goodness, three modes, three types: mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. When the eternal living entity comes in contact with nature, with these three modes, he becomes conditioned by these modes. So the living entity is pure, pure spirit soul, Satchitananda Vigraha, eternal, full of bliss, full of knowledge. But as soon as the living entity comes in contact with the material world, um, he becomes conditioned by the three modes. And Prabhupada used to give an example, just like the rainwater. When it is in the sky, the rainwater is fully pure. But as soon as the rainwater touches the ground, it becomes kichad, muddy, swamp. It becomes contaminated. Likewise, when we are in the spiritual world, we are completely pure. But as soon as we come in touch with material nature, we become contaminated by these three modes. It is um, um, almost impossible not to be affected by our surroundings. And this material nature is consisting of three modes, and they immediately bind us. Okay, now something about the three modes before we start. Now next, Krishna explains in three verses, Arjuna, what is mode of goodness, what is mode of passion, and what is mode of ignorance. Uh, Now before we go there, in third chapter Krishna says, Ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti mannate. Muda is foolish. Ahankara vimudatma, the foolish soul, the bewildered soul. Ahankar, out of false ego, kartaham iti mannate, thinks he is the doer. He is the doer of his activities. Actually, um, um, it is the three modes, the material nature, the Maya Shakti, which is um, um, making us desire so many things in this world. We may think it is my desire. I want to have this, smell this, see this, touch this. We may think it is my desire, but actually it is the influence of Maya Shakti. Um, as a spirit soul advances, he can see it is not my desire. I am being impelled by illusory energy of the Lord. She is controlling me. And then he takes shelter of Krishna. But in the beginning, the living entity cannot see how Maya is controlling him or her. And so he thinks he is doing what he likes to do, and this is his decision, this is his desire, but he don't see how he is helpless like a puppet, and these three modes are controlling. So understanding these three modes is supremely important. That's how a living entity becomes liberated, because when he sees things as they are, then he doesn't become entangled. When we don't see things, then only we become entangled. So now we will everything will be clear. This topic is little difficult, but if you remain patient, things will clarify as the chapter progresses. Now, bondage by goodness. Now, if somebody asks, among goodness, passion, ignorance, which is good, and the answer is all three are bad. All three are material by nature. The living entity has to transcend them, go beyond them. But among the three, mode of goodness is the best. Among the three. Um, Tatra Sattvam Nirmalatvat. Nirmal is pure. So Tatra Sattvam. Sattva is mode of goodness. Sattva good. Um, Among all the three tatra, mode of goodness is the best. So relative comparison. Prakashanam anamayam. Prakash means light. Prakashanam means illumination. So person in mode of goodness, he comes in knowledge. His life becomes illuminated. He can see things as they are. That's a sign of goodness. And anamayam, he is free from sins and distress. Um, we sin because of ignorance, because we identify ourselves with the body, and because of material desires. Material desires are born out of ignorance. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, material desires are born out of ignorance. Um, mm, when we are transcendental, when we are beyond the bodily platform, we cannot desire anything. We desire because these three modes impel us to desire. Material desire means three modes only. So we are only covering under three modes. One time, one devotee came to Srila Prabhupada and he said, Prabhupada, um, I am Krishna conscious, but sometimes Maya attacks me. And Prabhupada said, no, you are always in Maya. Sometime you comes in a zone of Krishna. So that's our nature. That's our conditioning. We are always impelled by the three modes. Sometime we come in the zone, in the shelter of Krishna, and to the extent we become pure, to that extent our dependence on Krishna increases more and more. Sukha sangena badnati, jnana sangena chanaga badnati. You will see mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. This word is used for all three. Badnati. Badnati means bind. The living entity is bound to material nature. This mode of goodness also binds you in this world. um, Passion also binds, ignorance also binds. And how mode of goodness binds? Sukha sangena. The living entity thinks he is happy. When a living entity does not sin, and when he is in knowledge, because he is not sinning, there is no sinful reactions. No sinful reactions means no suffering. No suffering. Um, 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 and he has knowledge, so he does not commit sinful activities. So he becomes relatively happy, and then he thinks, I am happy. So if you tell such a soul, why don't you worship Krishna? And this material word is dukhalyam ashwatam. He says, no, material word is not dukhalyam ashwatam. Everything is so nice and rosy, and I'm happy here. And that feeling binds the living entity in this material world. Sukha sangena badanati, jnana sangena chanada. And another thing that he is conditioned by is knowledge. So he thinks he's in knowledge and he is happy, which he is. He has the knowledge. That's why he is um, um, prakashakam. He can see things as they are. He does not see, and he is relatively happier. But because he is in this material world, Krishna says in further, people who live life in a mode of goodness, at the end of the life they will be happy in this one. At the end of the life they'll become demigods, which is again a material world. Heavenly planets, which is within this universe, it's a material world, but higher than earthly planet. And there they associate with the um, apsaras and all different kinds of senses, and sense engagement again bring them to passion, and then they again fall down and take a human birth, and then again based on their association they may go to ignorance and may take an animal birth. So one may feel happy in the material world. Especially you see, um, um, some people in this material world are in mode of goodness and they will be relatively happier, um, but it's a temporary situation. These modes keeps on changing. So let's see more on mode of goodness, lifestyle of goodness, and we will take an example of Dr. and Mrs. Bright, and their two children. They have a small home. Now, by this example, we will understand our activities, which mode we are in. So this is case study. So Mr. and Mrs. Bright, they have two children. They have a small home just suitable to their needs in a peaceful country town. So it says the small home suitable to their needs. So person in mode of goodness, he is happy with the um, as long as his needs are fulfilled. He's happy with that. In a peaceful country town, and the surrounding that he likes is more like countryside. City is in mode of passion ignorance, but farms and forest and countryside is in mode of goodness. So that's another sign that he has that liking. That's because mode of goodness is heavy on him. Dr. Bright is a local MD, a thoughtful, qualified man, respected for doing his job honestly and selflessly. So these are another two qualities of goodness. Person in mode of goodness will be honest and he will be selfless. He would try to help others without expecting anything in return. His hobby, reading books of philosophy, poetry, and science. So he likes to read. Prabhupada says scientists are in mode of goodness mostly, and people who like poetry and philosophy, they are mode of goodness. Actually, reading is a habit of goodness. People who read Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam, it's a sign of goodness. But when we are in passion, we cannot sit down and read. 10 minutes after we sit down and read, we want to get up and do something else. A person in passion cannot sit down, cannot just be absorbed at a level of mind. He has to keep working. He wants to get something done and see the result and gain satisfaction. I did it. This is sign of passion. But a person in goodness is simply doing some He has lot of patience, and he can simply read and be absorbed, and that's a sign of goodness. Mrs. Bright and the children. Now, this was about the husband, about the wife and children, Mrs. Bright and children. When the children aren't in school, farm and garden around the house, and care for the family cow. So, cow is also a mode of goodness. So, people who love cows or want to associate with cows, they are in mode of goodness. That's why they like it. If you go near a cow and serve a cow, you'll become peaceful, because people in mode of goodness are peaceful. And because cow is in mode of goodness, by her association, we also come to goodness, at least temporarily. So, cow is very good. And then farm and garden, these are mode of goodness. So this is what wife and kids do when kids are not in school. They do farm, so this is kind of their hobby, and because they are in goodness, they like doing it. Mm, they think they like doing it, but actually mode of goodness makes them desire like that, makes them desire like that. The brides are mildly prosperous people who give thanks to God for the things they have and take their religion as a serious duty. Um, so they are grateful, and they can, because prakashayati, they are illumined. They can see things as they are. They understand and they can see the hand of the Lord, and everything is based on karma and Lord's mercy. That whatever I have, it is Lord's mercy on me. Um, by almost anyone's standard, they would have to be considered exceptionally pious. They do the right things. They help others and everything else. Um, so they are pious people. Continuing, they don't gamble, and for them, intoxicants are strictly prohibited. They don't smoke, and not to speak of liquor. They don't even drink tea and coffee. So no intoxications, intoxicants, gambling. So these are activities of passion and ignorance. So they don't engage in these kind of activities. Dr. Bright has seen too many of his patients bring trouble to themselves through extramarital affairs. So he has always been faithful to his wife, and she too has always been faithful to him. So another sign of goodness is these people learn by seeing. So when Dr. Bright sees that so many patients are so much suffering, um, because they entered into extramarital affairs, Dr. Bright learned by seeing that this is something I should not be doing. So he is faithful to his wife. Again, a sign of goodness that you learn from, just by seeing, you can learn. By hearing from others, you can learn. The brides decided long ago that killing animals is barbaric, so they never eat meat, fish, chicken, or even eggs. All in all, the brides lead a clean, simple, and happy life. But the brides are conditioned by a sense of happiness and knowledge. If you ask Dr. Mr. and Mrs. Bright um, about Krishna consciousness, and they say, I don't need Krishna because I'm happy. And that's a problem with the mode of goodness, is these people think they are happy, so they don't need Krishna, but they don't see. Now if you compare a devotee who may be in mode of passion and ignorance compared to a non-devotee who is in goodness, according to Srimad Bhagavatam, a devotee in passion and ignorance is much better than a non-devotee in goodness, because it may seem like the non-devotee has all the good qualities, but they are temporary. Over a period of time, the modes will change, and he will develop all the other qualities also, and then he will come to goodness, passion, ignorance. This cycle is keep going on. But a devotee who may be in passion, ignorance, may have all the bad qualities, but because he is taking shelter of Krishna, he will develop all good qualities, and he will not stop there. He will continue till he goes back to Godhead. That's why he's on a right direction, on a right path. He may be in a lower scale with respect to modes, but he will reach the destination. But a person in goodness may be on a higher scale, but it's just temporary. He will just keep fluctuating in this material world only till he takes to devotional service. So this is the lifestyle of goodness. They are attached to their harmonious word, therefore they are bound by mode of goodness. They said we are happy with our home, with our job, with our wife, with our children. We are happy, but it's a temporary situation. Um, um, Now mode of passion. रजो रागात्मकं विद्धि तृष्णासङ्गसमुद्भवं तन्निबध्नाति कौन्तेय कर्मसङ्गेन देहिनां रजो ragatmakam vidhi. Rajo is now describing mode of passion. Raga means attachment. So these people in mode of passion, they have lots of attachments. Ragatmakam vidhi. Trishna. Trishna means they have hankering. They have lot of hankering. Um, they they have lot of attachment and they are hankering to fulfill those material desires. Um, Others have something I don't have. I also want that. Others are enjoying more than me. I want to take their position. I want to enjoy just like them. So they compare themselves with others and they hanker for what they don't have. And that's how they remain miserable. Um, because unlimited desires, limited objects of sense gratification, so they always have unfulfilled desires and they are always miserable. And tan nibadnati, and how these people are bound, Kanteya, O Arjuna, again badnati, how these people are bound, karma sangena dehina, they are bound by karma. They work very hard. They are always on the go. And what are they working for? To satisfy their hankerings, to satisfy their attachments, their desires. They work very hard, and that's how they are bound. But mode of goodness people, they don't have hankerings. They are satisfied with what they have. So they are bound by the sense of happiness. And these people are bound by the activities, by attachments, by hankering and longing and unfulfilled desires. They are bound like that. Now, a passionate lifestyle, a case study of lifestyle mode of passion. The Smiths, that was Mr. and Mrs. Bright. This is Mr. and Mrs. Smith. They live in a suburbs, in a stylish home filled with modern conveniences. Um, so they live in suburbs in a stylish home. So they like all these modern gadgets and conveniences, and they are flamboyant people. They like to show off. Prestige is important to them. So home should be stylish, um, automatic. So this is a sign of passion. Then each morning, Larry Smith gulps down breakfast in time to fight traffic to the office. So they always are. They don't have any peace of mind. Peace of mind is mode of goodness. They do things perfectly, nicely. But mode of passion, they want to get 100 things done in 5 minutes. So how do they do it? Everything quick, quick, quick. So, oh, traffic, jaldi, jaldi, jaldi. Khado karo, jaldi, jaldi. Arey, take some prasadam, Baba. Oh, just run. So they are always in that running zone, and then finally, when they achieve the goal, they feel, aha, I did it, I made it. So this is a sign of passion, always running and on the go. Then, like, um, um, there he sits all day dealing at the work. He sits all day dealing with different headaches, as he calls them. Uh, so, a person in mode of passion, for him, the work is a headache. But for a person in mode of goodness, he is satisfied with his work. He is selfless. He is grateful for every situation he is in. But a person in mode of in mode of passion, he is miserable. He is always complaining. Arey yaar, kya this is horrible. My situation, my life is waste. This is all sign of passion. A hard job, but worth it, he figures, since it lets him afford the luxuries he enjoys. and still have some money left over for the stock market and some other shady business schemes he has going on the side. Shady means illegal business schemes. So he likes to gamble in stock, again sign of passion. um, and this job, it's a headache for him, but he can get some wealth and he can enjoy some richness, some luxury. So it's worth it. So these are all sign of passion. And if you see, he has a job, he has a shady business, he invests in stock market, he's doing 100 things at a time. um, Money is the honey, Larry says. So mode of passion, attachment, material desires. um, Gloria, his wife, wakes up in time to see that the two elder children look decent. Family prestige is important to the Smith and sends them off to school. The wife is very careful about children should be dressed nicely, and everybody should say these children are very nice. They dress so nicely, they present themselves so nicely. And then when Gloria hears that, she feels happiness. She feels happiness when she receives the prestige, the honor from others. Again, desire for honor is another material desire. It's again a sign of passion. She spends most of her day with the baby, the one we didn't expect, says Larry. Um, Again, one we didn't expect, sign of passion, unplanned, um, uh, passionate desires. Um, Either Gloria's in the house with the TV going, in the background with the other house, in the playground with the other housewife and children, in the beauty salon, or sometimes it seems like forever shopping. So they love shopping. um, One thing is go and get the things needed, mode of goodness. Mode of passion is spending time in beauty salon and shopping. How can I look better? Their prestige is important. Again, they try to show off, like so many film stars and so many models. Mode of passion, sign of passion. Of course, if it's a profession and if you do it as a matter of duty and keep Krishna conscious in the center, that is goodness. But when there is a desire to impress others, that is a sign of passion. And in the house with TV going or chit chatting uh, with other people for nothing, these are all sign of passion. If you see in mode of goodness, they like farming, they like to be around cows. So, they like the countryside region, so they are happy with that. When goodness is controlling us, then those are the things we desire. And when passion is controlling us, then we try to impress prestige, money, attachments, desires, longing, and hankering. These are all prominent in passion. All day, the Smiths are active on the go. So they do 10 things at the same time. Of course, a person in mode of goodness can also do 10 things at the same time, but he does everything very carefully. Um, and um, 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 he's more of a um, perfectionist. Um, Passion means we get leave some things half done. It's okay, chodo na, it's too difficult, and go to the next one and keep jumping. That's a sign of passion. At night they relax, but sometimes their minds just are just so wound up that they can't get a good night's sleep. So because of so much anxiety and hankerings and desires, they can't even sleep properly. They keep on meditating on their problems. What is happening? Why it's happening to me? How do I solve this? So they can't even sleep. They squabble with each other, means they fight, a sign of passion. And sometimes they are depressed, sign of ignorance. uh, but as Larry jokingly philosophizes, there is no problem so great that sex can't solve it. Sex life, again, sign of passion. So they frequently meet to avoid release their distress and anxiety. On the weekends, the Smiths make a show of being religious. Again, make a show. They like to be called that I am also spiritual. They like that feeling. Uh, Again, a sign of passion. Mode of goodness is one is dedicated to spiritual progress. Mode of passion is show bottle spirituality, but it is more or less a social affair, since in fact they generally disregard the guidelines of their scriptures. This family is typical of the mode of passion. So um, yeah, Prabhupada said 95% of people in this age of Kali are influenced by passion and ignorance. So most of the people lie in this category, a passionate lifestyle. Uh, um, Krishna says only a devotee can understand this. So although they are impelled by the three modes in this ways, they cannot realize it. They cannot see that. Um, Mode of ignorance. Tamastva ajnana jam vidhi mohanam sarvadehinam pramad alasya nidrabhis tannibadnati bharata. Tamas tamogun. Tamas is mode of ignorance. Tamastva ajnana jam vidhi. Ajnana means they are in ignorance. Ignorance means they don't know what is right, what is wrong. Ignorance means they think what is wrong is what is right. Intoxication. Do you want to drink alcohol? Yeah, but this is not good. Uh, who says that? Where is it written? And they will argue why to kill animals. Mode of goodness, he's against violence, doesn't want to cause pain to any other living entity. Mode of ignorance, he will argue, why can't I kill? I must kill. So this is again ignorance. What he thinks what he is doing is right, um, but what he is doing is actually in ignorance. So this is again example of tamogun. Mohana. Uh, Mohana is illusion. They are illusioned to think and cannot distinguish between right and wrong. All living entities in this category, they are illusion and they are in ignorance. Pramad means mad. These people are mad. Alasya, these people are lazy. To do something, they'll be like, can you do this? प्रभु आज तो बहुत थक गए हैं, कल करेंगे. I'll do it tomorrow. Today I'm very tired. So alasya and nidra bhis, they sleep a lot. Prabhupada says they sleep 10 to 12 hours also. Prabhupada said anybody who sleeps more than 6 hours is influenced by mode of ignorance. I mean, 7 is okay, I heard. But more than that, it's certainly there is a sign of ignorance. Tan nibadnati bharata, and that's how they are bound. So they are mad. They are mad. Why mad? Now there was a small child who used to think that he's a bird, and he will do like chi 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 as if he's flying, and parents just thought this is childish game and the baby is so cute, and they just played around, but this child was actually thinking that I am a bird, I can fly. So he went on the top floor of 30-40 floor, his um, big skyscraper building. He went to the top floor and he was looking down, and he was seeing all the birds flying, and he thought I can also fly. And then he, when nobody was around or he was just playing in one corner, he jumped from the building, and he thought that I can actually fly. And he left the body like that. Later on, doctors declared him as mad, because he was thinking he is a bird, but he has some psychological mental problems, which parents thought very cute and just joking. Parents thought like that. So a mad person, he thinks himself, but he's not. He identifies himself as somebody he is not. So that is sign of ignorance. Prabhupada says ignorance means person in ignorance thinks he is the body. He's convinced about it. And when we act on the platform of ignorance, um, we commit sinful activities. So I'm talking about myself, we are in ignorance, because if we have material desires, that's a sign of ignorance also. If you remember, um, fourth chapter, um, um, T stands for fifth chapter step. um, um, T stands for three doers. And Krishna there says, the living entity performs sinful activities because of his ignorance. And the Supreme Lord is not responsible for the action and reaction. Although the Supreme Lord's sanction is required for anything to happen, he is not responsible. Man proposes, God disposes. The man desires based on his ignorance, and he incriminates himself because he acts in that way, and karmic reactions are produced, and then he suffers. So this madness of misidentification, laziness, sleep, ignorance, and illusioned, um, um, by material nature, these are all bondage by tamogun. Something that Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport. For example, everyone can see that his grandfather has died, and therefore he will also die. Man is mortal. The children that he conceives will also die. So death is sure. Still, people are mad, accumulating money and working very hard all day and night, not caring for the eternal spirit. So, when we are working very hard without caring for our spiritual progress, who we really are, and we are running behind things that we are going to leave in this world, then that activities is influenced by ignorance, because what's the value of that activity? Whatever is required for living, all right, but when it comes to greed, uh, and more and mad after position and wealth, then that's the sign of ignorance of our real identity. Only when we identify with the body and the bodily comforts only does a person becomes mad after these things. This is madness. In their madness, they are very reluctant to make advancement in spiritual understanding. You ask such people, Prabhu, you are a spirit soul. Why don't you act on a spiritual platform? And they think, um, this is crazy. They think, um, these people are just brainwashed. So one time there is a debate: who is mad? Are spiritualists mad or are materialists mad? Who is mad? Well, depends upon what do you think? Who do you think we are? Just like this child was thinking, um, that he's a child, that he is a bird, so he was considered mad. So if we are thinking, first of all we have to question ourselves: am I the body, am I spirit soul? And now, if I am a spirit soul, and then if I'm thinking that I'm the body and acting on the level of body, then who is mad? Then who is mad? Mad means one who identifies, one who thinks himself something that he is not, that he is not. So such people are very lazy for spiritual advancement. When they are invited to associate for spiritual understanding, they are not much interested. They are not even active like the man who is controlled by mode of passion. Thus, another symptom of one embedded in mode of ignorance is that he sleeps more than required. Okay, that's something we discussed. This was from Srila Prabhupada Purport. So we saw mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. Mode of goodness: peaceful, grateful to the Lord for everything he or she has achieved. Um, Selfless. Um, their hobbies is farming and cow protection. He's satisfied with his job. He learned from another's experiences. He does not do sin. Purest than all others. Um, um, and he is bound by the sense of happiness and knowledge. He thinks he is happy because he is not stealing, so naturally he does not have many reactions. Mode of passion: they try to show off hankering, material desires, greed, um, 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 money is honey, no problem that sex can't solve it. Um, 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 on a bodily platform, they try to impress others. So these are all signs of passion. They want to enjoy material life basically. Mode of ignorance, they don't want to enjoy life also. They are just lazy. Anger is a sign of ignorance because when we become angry, we don't see what is right, what is wrong. Alcohol is a sign of ignorance because when we drink it, we forget ourselves. We act in a mad way. Uh, we make wrong decisions. We are illusioned. We sleep a lot. Laziness, madness, and these are all sign of mode of ignorance. Okay, now the question is which mode we are in, and the answer is all three of them. Sometime mode of goodness becomes prominent in us and we think everything in this world is temporary, Krishna is the only reality, Krishna consciousness. Another time we are tormented by lust and greed and material desires and longing and hankering. Another time we become very lazy to do anything and we become angry at people, and we sleep a lot. um, then we are in mode of ignorance. So these three modes, they are found in all living entities. There is no pure mode. There is nobody in pure goodness. Pure goodness means transcendental, spiritual, liberated soul, pure goodness. Just like there is red, blue, and green primary colors, from those colors, these televisions have 255 million colors generated from these three colors. Likewise, somebody can be 70% goodness, 16% passion, 14% ignorance. Somebody can be this and this and this and this, and there are millions of combinations like that. So every living entity, now there is certainly a primary mode, but all the three modes exist. And Srimad Bhagavatam gives an example of a bull. Um, there is a string. They make a hole in the nose of a bull, and then they pass a string through the nose, and then the person, he holds those string that is passing through the bull's nose. Bull's nose is very sensitive. It itches him. So when a person wants the bull to take a right turn, the person pulls the string like this, and the bull nose itches, and the bull want to avoid it. So bull very carefully turns so that the the string does not rub his nose, and turns, and then the person releases it, and then bull feels, oh, now I'm all right, and then bull start walking, and the bull thinks I turned right, and the bull thinks I turned left. But the bull is foolish that the bull cannot see the person behind me is controlling me. But the bull thinks I am turning left and right, I am doing whatever I want. It was inconvenience. I wanted it this way, I wanted it that way, and I am in control. I am the decision maker here. Likewise, Srimad Bhagavatam explains the living entity is controlled by the three modes, and just like um, for the bull, it is uncontrollable, and the bull fulfills his desire and thinks he is the controller. For us, our desire are based on these modes, and then when we fulfill those desires, we think now I'm happy, now I achieved what I wanted. But we don't see that these three modes are controlling us. Everyone is in the grip like a puppet of these three modes. um, Only a person who takes to Krishna consciousness, he becomes liberated. He goes beyond three modes. Then he is free to do whatever he likes. But a person who is Badanati, who is bound by three modes, he is forced to do according to what which mode is acting on a person. We are dealing with three modes all the time, but we just don't realize it. When we realize it, we are liberated. Krishna says, great sages in the first verse, that's the beginning. This knowledge is the best of knowledge, and great sages who have realized that this knowledge, they have attained supreme perfection, just like myself. And this is John Dull and Betty Grumble. The mode of ignorance is exemplified by the lives of John Dull and Betty Grumble. They never got married, sign of ignorance. America is personification of that. People live together without marriage. But they live together in a squalor. Squalor means shabby, um, uh, dirty, dirty place. So mode of goodness, we saw a clean house, and here it's squalor. So people, when we are in goodness, we cannot stand uncleanliness. As our goodness increases, we want to keep our environment and surrounding clean. If we are in mode of ignorance, then we have no problem with all the mess around. um, um, John earns by peddling drugs. Drugs, another sign of ignorance. His profession is drug. Mode of passion, his profession is headache, and mode of goodness, his profession is satisfied. So these are the three. Religion, they both decided long ago, is something they don't want to be the part of. Ignorance, I don't care about dharma. Mahabharat explains um, um, धर्मो ही विशेषो पशुभिर naranam. Without dharma, there is no difference between a human and an animal, because they all, both humans and animals, are engaged in eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. So human becomes a two-legged animals. But it is the dharma, Mahabharata explains, the religion, the human can question, human can um, question about who am I, why I have to die, why I have to take birth, what is before, what is after, what is karma, is there God, what is the reality, this astronomy, this astrology, these laws of karma are bounding us, who is controlling these laws of karma, who made them, etc., etc. A human being can question. So that's the special prerogative of a human form of life. So ignorance, they don't want to be the part of anything like that. Passion, they want to practice religion, but they want name and fame from their spiritual practices. They want to be glorified by their spiritual practices, being impressed, to impress upon by their spiritual practice. Passion, goodness, just wants to serve the Lord. And continued goodness is transcendence. They spend their time sleeping at least 10 or 12 hours a day, or else getting high on drugs, feasting on beer and salami, and languishing in their apartment. Naturally, all ignorant activities. For years, they have dreamt about starting a commune in Spain. So they just dream, it never gets done. They want to do something, they want and they want and they want, and remains a want only. That sign of ignorance. Passion means immediately do it without thinking anything. Goodness, think about pros and cons. Is it worth doing it? And then do it in a perfect way. That is goodness. Passion, just get it done. We'll see what comes around tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. Just without thought process, rush. And ignorance, छोड़ो यार करेंगे, we will start, and we keep thinking we'll start and never get started. So um, type of home, simple, clean. Passion, um, stylish, filled, modern. Ignorance, dirty, unpleasant, squalor. Job, thoughtful, respectful, honest, selfless. Passion, headaches, uh, hard, allows to enjoy luxury, stock, shady business schemes, drug dealer. Hobby, reading books, farming, gardening, cow. Passion, TV, gossip, beauty salon, shopping, all day active on the go. Ignorance, sleep 10 to 12 hours, drug, beer, non-veg, lazy. So these three modes are there. Someday we want to eat in goodness, someday we want to eat in ignorance, someday in passion. Someday we feel like, only Krishna, and someday we are totally hankering after our material desires. So these three modes are constantly competing. Um, Power of habits. Our habits form our character. Ignorance obscures and impedes. When we act in ignorance, um, like anger, madness, illusion, then our spiritual life is obstructed, becomes very difficult to make spiritual progress. Passion confuses and provokes, rajas. When we come to passion, immediately we are provoked with longing and hankering to acquire something, to enjoy something in a certain way, and we become confused. We forget our goal of life, and we get provoked by others. Passion, goodness purifies and clarifies. Person goodness in any situation, he will be peaceful. The person who wins the game is the person who remains in goodness, even in the time of provoking situation. Goodness will be tolerant. Prabhupada said, the greatness of a person can be estimated by one's ability to tolerate the provoking situations. So provoking situations will come. If we are able to tolerate them, then we are in goodness. And if we become then we are in passion. Then we are in passion. Um, and pure goodness, Shuddha Sattva liberates. That is beyond ignorance, passion, and goodness. This chapter is very, very enlightening actually. This chapter 14, chapter 17th, and chapter 18th, these three chapters speaks about the three modes in detail. Chapter 15th is month of Purushottam, is a Purushottam chapter, very important, glories of the Lord. Chapter 16th is divine and demoniac, qualities of a divine person, qualities of demoniac person. So this is the remaining four chapters that are remaining in this Bhagavad Gita. Now, there are three more verses we will cover today before we end. We have already discussed, I'm just going to read it. Sometimes the mode of goodness becomes prominent, defeating mode of passion, ignorance. O son of Bharata, sometimes mode of passion defeat goodness and ignorance, and at other time ignorance defeat goodness and passion. In this way, there is always competition for supremacy. So we discussed about it. These three modes are constantly changing. Sometimes we are in goodness, peaceful, sometimes we are in passion, longing, sometimes we are in ignorance, angry, mad, and illusion. So these modes are constantly changing. This is called race for prominence. When we are in goodness, we want to go to sea area and beaches. When we are in passion, we want to enjoy and go to bars and pubs or do some such kind of enjoyment. Ignorance, anyways, we are just lazy. When goodness increases, all the nine gates of the body, the two eyes, two ears, two nostrils, mouth, genitals, and anus, are illuminated by knowledge and happiness. So, how, what happens? There are only three verses, these three verses. Um, what happens when goodness increases? When goodness increases, um, the nine gates, the body is called city of nine gates. The nine gates are two ears, two nostrils, two eyes, six, mouth, anus, and genitals. So these are nine openings of the body, nine openings. That's why body is also called city of nine gates. When these nine gates are illuminated with knowledge, then our goodness is increasing. So um, when we see something in knowledge, then we see things as they are, um, from a spiritual perspective. Um, Likewise, ears. Um, ears in passion, we like to hear ourselves being glorified, um, the faults in others. But when we are in goodness, then we like to hear about Krishna and like to hear spiritual master Srila Prabhupada. Then we are acting in goodness or glories of others. Um, so the ears are illuminated by knowledge. Likewise, mouth. In goodness, we like to glorify. In passion, we like to talk about sense gratification. And in ignorance, we like to um, criticize others in when the mouth is in ignorance. So when all the holes of the body um, are illumined by knowledge, means they are used according to scriptures in a Krishna conscious way, then it is goodness. Now whatever we can know our attraction, how do we use these nine gates, that whether my goodness is increasing or reducing. In passion, I want to enjoy through these nine gates, enjoy through ears, through eyes, through nose, through mouth, through anus, and through genitals. I want to enjoy. Um, um, Ignorance looks like goodness, because ignorance also don't engages much, but ignorance is just out of laziness, and goodness is like you see things as they are. You use the nine gates of the body for progression. So when goodness increases, these gates acts in knowledge. What happened when passion increases? O chief of Bharata, when there is an increase in mode of passion, we suddenly develop great attachment, uncontrollable desire, hankering, and intense endeavor. Um, um, so this is what happens when passion is increasing. A devotee, when um, some attachment or some hankering develops, oh, I want it. Then a devotee can see mode of passion is becoming active. I want prestige and honor for anything. Now passion is increasing. My passion is increasing. I should take shelter of Krishna so I can transcend. So first is knowledge, begins with knowledge. With knowledge, we understand what is what. When we understand and when we act on knowledge, that will help us to raise our goodness. So when passion increases, um, desire. Sometime we don't desire anything material. We are very satisfied being with Krishna. Sometime when passion increases, we don't want to be with Krishna, and we want to fulfill our desires. So this is means our passion is increasing. Hankering develops an intense endeavor, and then we want to um, work. We want to do something to fulfill our desires, and great attachment. Sometimes we feel very attached to things of this world. Other times we feel I very detached. So that's like sometimes goodness is prominent, sometimes passion is prominent. And Krishna is telling how do we identify which mode is increasing. So first Krishna says that these modes are constantly struggling to win over each other, and these are the symptoms that happens when goodness, passion, ignorance increases. So we practicing devotees can understand which mode is increasing in me, and then we can take the corrective measures. And this is the last verse, I think. Ignorance, um, when ignorance increases, aprakasha aprakasha, our knowledge is covered. Uh, we misidentify ourselves. Inertia, we don't want to do anything. Inertia means ये काम करना है, करेंगे करेंगे, इतना परेशान क्यों कर रहे हो, करेंगे. So inertia, we don't want to do anything. Madness, illusion, moha, moha, maya, moha, uh, uh, are manifested. Discrimination is absent. We don't know what is right, what is wrong. We act on a platform of sinful activities. Breaking four regulative principles, sign of ignorance. Um, Okay, and this is the summary. Modes are fluctuating constantly. There is a struggle between the three modes. The influence of modes can change at different times in our life. Morning is mode of goodness. We want to practice devotional service. Afternoon, we want to work, mode of passion. Ignorance is in the night. nightclubs and happy hours, everything happens in the night. All sinful activities happens in the night. For a devotee, night is also transcendence, goodness. But in general, modes fluctuates throughout our day. Internals affect the externals. Internal means if you cultivate Krishna consciousness within, um, um, your activities and your life, the way you act, the way you behave, the way you eat, the way you think, the way you do things will rise to goodness. What you internally meditate on, it will come out, it will become your external, and external affect the internals. This is also important, that um, um, even though we may be in passion or ignorance, so we want to keep the room dirty, so but we clean it out of force. Externally, we are trying to live a lifestyle of goodness. We follow four regulative principles, even though we may have desires, we still follow. So externals, then they will help us to increase our goodness internally, to improve ourselves internally. Okay, and today is the first month. We are finishing with this slide. Today is the first day of the month of Kartik. Month of Kartik is the best among all the months. It is said any devotional service rendered in the month of Kartik reaps 1000 times more benefit than other months. Like other 11 months, if you chant one round, and if you chant one round in the month of Kartik, then it is like 1000 rounds you chanted. So, month of Karthik is a shortcut for devotees to make spiritual progress. This month is dearest to devotees. This month is very dear to Krishna, and the presiding deity of the month of Karthik is Srimati Radharani. Radharani is um, female aspect of God. Male aspect of God is Krishna, and female aspect of God is Radharani. Just like a mother is more merciful than father, usually Srimati Radharani is more merciful than Krishna. If we please Srimati Radharani, it's much easier to go closer to Krishna than by approaching Krishna directly. So intelligent devotees, they approach through mother, who is Srimati Radharani, and this is the month of Srimati Radharani. So any devotional service rendered in this month, it becomes very very easy to please her, and by pleasing her, Krishna is purchased. Krishna will be yours. Prabhupada says Krishna will be in your fingers if you can please Srimati Radharani. And this is her month. So devotees in this month, they take some Kartik Vrata, some Vrata in only for this month. Something extra devotional service, um, as an austerity to please Srimati Radharani, and they make leaps and bounds of spiritual progress. Some people do very intense devotional service in this month. This month is the best month of the year, and today is the first day. So somehow we had our discussion today. So see what you can do. This is a very good time that you can increase your chanting, you can increase your reading, increase your hearing, or do something tangible, and do it every day, and do it as a tapasya for the pleasure Srimati Radharani, and you will find yourself in a very different position by the end of the month. And I myself, I try to increase my devotional service in this month, or anything that is obstructing me in my devotional service. In this month, I try to avoid it, and then slowly, what I do personally in my life, every month of Karthik, I increase my devotional service, and I continue it for the rest of the year. And then the next year in the Kartik, I again increase, and that's how gradually I am increasing my devotional service, and that's recommended for everyone. This is a month. If you are thinking of doing something in Krishna consciousness, if you're thinking of chanting more, if you're thinking of reading more, today is a day. Today is the first day of Kartik. Take that vrata and say that it is Shrimati Radharani, it is for your pleasure. Please help me to do it. And if her mercy comes, you are done. If something you are struggling to do and you are unable to do, try in this month, guaranteed you will be able to do it and you will be able to experience the mercy of Radharani. But be determined and try your best. Lot of mercy. It's like mercy on sale today. I mean, in this month. Very cheaply you get Krishna in this month. So, all the best for the month of Kartik and happy Kartik. We'll stop here unless anybody would like to ask anything. All right. Thank you. Vanchakalpataruvasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Bro.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.